people don't like Jon Stewart because he's either woefully ignorant, I don't think that's the case, or he's an outright liar. In this story, such an a-hole, Jon Stewart gives cutting takedown of Kevin O'Leary defending Trump fraud. Why? You see, I look at these posts and I cannot assume Jon Stewart is so stupid as to how property value works that he's made a mistake. Jon Stewart, being very wealthy, likely owns many properties. Let me start by saying this. First, the gist of this segment: Jon Stewart misrepresents assessed value versus market value to defend the fraud narrative against Trump and attack an actual real estate developer who says it's not about Trump, it's about seizing property from someone. This is crazy. Jon Stewart here appears to be playing this, I'm just a silly man, but look, I can justify the actions of the fringe leftist communists in New York City. Again, why many people don't like Jon Stewart. It's disingenuous, it's manipulative, and dare I say, it is evil. Either through sheer ignorance, but no, I don't think so.
What's going on, everyone? Sauce Skinny here today. I want to give my analysis about the whole Jon Stewart debacle that's been happening on mainstream media and how they're trying to, I guess, essentially try to debunk the claim that Tim Pool was making in the beginning of this video, that Jon Stewart essentially is guilty of the very same thing Trump is. And many people on the left sit here and try to justify, oh, it's different between Jon Stewart. Jon Stewart found to have overvalued his New York home by over 829% after slamming Trump's civil case as not victimless. Now, before I go into the article, right? This is the article you guys can see here. Comedian Jon Stewart rants this week that Donald Trump's civil real estate case overvaluing his property was not victimless. Yet, when it comes to his own home, Stewart benefited from a similar inflation. Now, on Monday, Stewart unpacked Trump's appeals case, calling out experts framing the president's New York civil case for not causing him direct harm to any individual. Yes, no individual was harmed. The loans got paid back. Trump was able to borrow the money, and he was able to pay it back based on the evaluation that, under the pretext that he was given. And end of the day, focus on the results. But many of people on the left, they know they want to focus on narrative. And that's why I opened up with Tim Pool's videos, because now they're coming at Tim Pool for it. They show Hope roll clips of, various media personalities, especially, Kevin O'Leary, who's been the added defender against this specific issue, right? He calls out Kevin O'Leary as an asshole. At this point, Stewart argued that money isn't infinite. A loan that goes to a liar doesn't go to someone who gives an honest evaluation. So pretty much you're saying that people cannot dictate what they are willing to sell something for. If I'm willing to sell you, let's say, something of value, what is something of perceived value? Let's say a YouTube channel. If I were to sell you a YouTube channel and I say, hey, I believe my YouTube channel is worth $100,000, and you decide to buy it for $100,000, did I defraud you? Because my channel isn't generating $100,000. But if you're willing to buy for that price, is that fraud or not? And this is the inconsistencies that I talk about with liberals. This is liberal projection. Because Jon Stewart, you're guilty of the same thing you're saying Trump is guilty of, right? And there's some stories that came out, right? New York Post promote laughably wrong claim about online trolls accusing Jon Stewart for fraudulently overvaluing his property. The Republicans, no, people on the right are just playing the same game you are. Okay, if you call this thing, and this is the problem that I have with a lot of people online, and they play tribal politics. I try to be as objective as possible, okay? Let's play this as a detective game. If you call selling something more than what you got it for. So if I got this channel, if I started this channel for free, I didn't pay nothing for this channel, and I charge you $100,000 for this channel to buy it from me, did I overvalue the channel? Because value is subjective. Sure, someone look at my channel, assess it, and look, hey, this thing doesn't generate much money. It's only worth $3,000. That's the assessed value. That's the value that some expert on the market said, hey, this is what Kenny's YouTube channel is worth, only $3,000. But someone was willing to buy it for more than the assessment value. Did I commit fraud? Did I overvalue my properties? This is the funny part about it. It's not based on any rooted in any fact. Judge used the tax code as what he used to evaluate the properties. Hey, Trump only paid $18 million on this property. Therefore, it's only worth $18 million. When you ask a CEO of a luxury real estate market like the CNN pundits did years ago, a couple of weeks ago, when they were thinking that Letitia James was going to seize Trump's assets, she said, oh yeah, Mar-a-Lago's worth hundreds of millions. Okay, there's a discrepancy there. You're playing the same game. This is arbitrage. This is what Kevin O'Leary was pointing out to. But it seemed like Jon Stewart wanted to play up to his crowd. New York Post made the curious decision to promote Trump's Tim Pool's laughable false accusation that Jon Stewart committed some sort of fraud regarding the 2014 sale of his Manhattan penthouse. Amplifying this notorious right-wing troll's claim that the point was where Stewart named trend on Twitter, probably known as sorry guys, I'm misconstruing a lot of things. All right. Poll tweeted 2 screenshots in his post on Tuesday, highlighting that November 7, 2014 article that the New York Times about the $17.5 million sale of Stewart's sophisticated penthouse on. But the whole idea, did Stewart commit fraud when he sold his penthouse for $17.5 million? Question. New York listed its market value for $1.8 million as an assessed value at around $800K.
Stewart opened Monday night's The Daily Show with a series of searing takedown of the conservative media's victimless crime defense of the business valuation fraud for which Trump has been found liable. Quote, the Attorney General of New York knew that Trump's property values were inflated because when it came time to pay taxes, Trump undervalued the very same properties. Stewart mocked Trump. It was all part of a very specific real estate practice known as lying. Ha ha ha. After playing clips of various talking heads in the conservative media realm, including O'Leary, defending Trump's fraudulent overvaluation of his properties, Stewart feigned surprise that O'Leary would take the position of who's next to be prosecuted. Stewart parodied Martin Niemöller's, famous quote, who's next? The persecuted minority of the investment community, Stewart mocked. First, they came for the arbitrageurs, and I said nothing, for I was an arbitrager. And then they came for the quants, which I could be. I don't know what a quant is. But I'm surprised to hear this from Kevin O'Leary, a guy who's such an a-hole. Wait, that even other people on Shark Tank think he's an a-hole, which he followed the montage of O'Leary barely hiding disgust at contestants of his show. You see what he's doing with poisoning the well. O'Leary makes a legitimate argument. Trump didn't do anything out of the ordinary. Jon Stewart then goes in for the character assassination to poison your view of Kevin O'Leary. I don't know or care if Kevin O'Leary's an a-hole. He's pointing out facts in real estate, which I can easily prove to you.
The left loves to appeal to authority, and this is their problem. They can't see any other way. Oh, the authority said your channel's only worth $3,000. The authority says, Jon Stewart, your assessed value of your condo is only worth $800, but he was willing to sell it but so he got someone to buy it from him for 17.5. Do you or do you not believe in consent? That's the problem I have with the left, because you're not consistent. If you believe in consent, it doesn't matter about the value. It doesn't matter what is said by a third party. If the two people involved in the interaction consent to the terms, and no one was victimized by the interaction, it should be allowed to go. So what gives justification for the government to come in, find Trump $456 million when no one got defrauded? Who the money's going to go to? Who are you raising the money for? For yourself, government? How is this not extortion? How is that legal extortion? This is the argument the left has to defend. All right, because they come out in their high horse. Oh, you're such a asshole. Well, a cutting takedown. Cutting takedown? Maybe for people who will already agree with you, which I know most leftists, they only talk to themselves in an echo chamber. But I try to talk to various amount of people, right? I got to cut that out now. I'm trying to talk to a various amount of people because they like the left honestly needs to break out of their echo chamber, bro. Because the left is in an echo chamber, right? Here's an example. Jon Stewart found to overvalue his properties. Here's someone who called himself Democrat Rick. This isn't fraud. Stewart sold the property for what someone was willing to pay for it. Consent. Okay. Trump was willing to sell the property for someone who was willing to loan money based on it. That's not fraud. Fraud would be applied if he applied for a loan, said it was worth some amount of far higher than what the appraiser said, and got a loan from the bank based on that lie. You got a sale based on that lie. Like I have 17 million in cash right now. What's the difference between that and a loan? Oh, you took money from a bank and you lied to the bank and said, oh, your property's worth 17.5 million when on the assessed value is only worth 1,800,000. I'm literally putting the loan into the amount. But this is the exceptions that they try to find. They try to find anything different, and they use that difference as a rationalization for why Jon Stewart can do an overvaluation, can get paid more than what the assessed value was worth than Trump. This is the little games that the left like to play. They like to be contrarian in this way, and this is what sometimes frustrates me with debating and arguing with left-wing people. They find any hole in the, or not hole, but they find any differences and they hone in on that and say, oh, this is why. But no, that's not the case. Because if it's literally the same thing. A loan is you borrowing someone else's money to make a purchase. So the other person has to do due diligence to verify, hey, am I willing to give this person money? When your family member walks up to you and they ask, hey, I need $1,000. You weigh the cost. Okay, am I willing to lose the $1,000 or not? Because we all understand what? Consent. So this is my problem. The government, they want the government to be like a referee, or they want the government to be the arbiter of interactions. That means everything has to go through based on what the government dictates it to be so. This is authoritarianism. This is how tyranny gains power. How don't you all understand the difference? Yeah, you see that? They try to highlight the difference. Look at this. The responsibility is on the bank, right? Just like the responsibility is on the individual. This is what I'm saying. The left does not believe in personal responsibility. This is why they can make claims like this and the left just eat it up. Because the left are so collectivist, they don't understand that the right and the left view things differently. The right says this is not a fraud case because the banks did their due diligence. Trump, you have to understand the bias, and this is the problem with like a lot of people. I think a lot of people on the left do not understand human nature. You have to understand that people will try to paint their assets in the best light, and it's up to you to find the truth in the middle of that. And that's what I try to do on my channel. Hey, look, assume everyone's biased, and then you piece together all the information to get the objective truth. That's what you have to do in this landscape. You can't no longer trust somebody who paint themselves as objective. I can make the same claim for mainstream media. Mainstream media is painting themselves as objective news media, but look at all the misinformation they put out. Look at all the disinformation they put out. No one holds them accountable. Look at the bias, right? Now I'm segueing here, but I feel like this is a point that must be made because whatever party holds to be true is truth. It's impossible to see reality except by looking through the eyes of the party. The political leanings of misinformation experts. Very left, fairly left, center right, slightly right. Right? But they paint themselves as objective. Oh, I'm objective. Isn't this fraud? Isn't this in of itself misinformation? But no one's calling that out. No one's getting tried in court over these claims. How you guys can't understand this? Right? Look at this. The responsibility is on both. It is for the borrower to make truthful statements, and it's for the lender to do their own due diligence. If this is the circular logic. If the borrower is supposed to be truthful, right? If you're supposed to assume the borrower has to be truthful, then why do your due diligence? Because if you got defrauded, you can just go to court. But if it requires consent from both sides, then essentially no fraud was made. He sold the property for a price someone was willing to pay. That's not illegal. I didn't realize which of these threads I was on. I thought this was a clown speaking about Trump and the fraud. I completely agree. People can sell the property for whatever they want. Whatever you know it or not, whether or not you told the truth, thanks for validating Trump's position in the case, as well as the banks that testified in the case that no one was defrauded. This is what the right is just trying to say. But the left doesn't care about the truth of the matter, the situation of the matter, the consistency of the matter. They only care about, okay, what side this individual's on. If they're on the left, okay, logical sense. If they're on the right, rationalize why we should prosecute him. That's how this is how the left is coming across. But let me know your thoughts. Did Jon Stewart get exposed? Did Jon Stewart get exposed? I can't speak today. Did Jon Stewart get exposed for overvaluing his property the same way that the left is now prosecuting Trump over evaluating his properties based on his assessed value? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I really like to hear what you guys have to say. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.